Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Inshallah, today I'm going to be doing the Tafseer of Surah Al-Fil. Now, this is one of those stories that we've heard from childhood, how a king called Abraha, he tried to attack the Kaaba and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed his plans. So, inshallah, today we're going to go into a little bit more detail about what actually transpired and what was the motivation behind Abraha attacking the Kaaba, and then we will go into the translation followed by the grammatical analysis. So this surah was revealed as a reminder to the Prophet ﷺ and obviously the people around him to remember the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the people of Mecca. And as I mentioned in Surah Al-Quraysh, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also reminds the Quraysh about the blessings that He gave to the people of Mecca, there is a connection between these two surahs to the degree that some scholars even go as far as to say that they were one surah, not two different surahs. In any case, the majority of the scholars disagree with that opinion. They say that they are actually two different surahs with a Bismillah in the middle to separate them. So the background to this surah is that the people around the countries surrounding Mecca, they were always constantly in war, specifically related to the trade routes. And prior to the attack on Makkah al-Mukarramah by Abraha, there were ongoing wars that were taking place between the Romans, the Byzantines, and the Abyssinians, and the people of Yemen, and so on. And ultimately, as a result of these wars, Abraha, who was the one that came and attacked the Kaaba, he became the person who became victorious over the others in securing these trade routes. Now, as we mentioned in Surah Al-Quraysh, one of the main things that the people of Mecca were famous for was the trade that used to occur in Makkah al-Mukarramah because of the pilgrimage, because of the Hajj that used to take place there. Now, Abraha, seeing this, he declared very openly that he's going to build a cathedral in Yemen, and once he's built that cathedral, he's going to go and destroy the Kaaba to make sure that the people of Makkah al-Mukarramah and the surrounding areas, instead of visiting the Kaaba, they would come and visit his cathedral. So once he openly declared this, it is mentioned that a person from the Quraysh heard about this, and he came and defiled that cathedral, that church that Abraha had built. So this massive cathedral, it was the Arab historians, they say that the Arabs refer to it as Al-Qulais or Al-Qalis, and this is from the Greek ecclesia, which means church. Incidentally, in French also, the word for church is église. So I'm assuming that it came from the same Greek root. So this Arab, this person from Quraysh, he went and defiled the church. Other riwayat say that a group of people from Quraysh tried to burn that church down, and yet others, they say that none of that actually happened. What Abraha did was he set up the whole thing to make it look like an Arab had done that, with the intention of having an excuse to attack the Kaaba. So ultimately, when he decided to attack the Kaaba, he took 60,000 troops, and according to one riwayah, 9 elephants, according to another riwayah, 13 elephants, and set off in the direction of Makkah al-Mukarramah. On the way, there was some resistance from a couple of tribes, and he basically defeated those tribes very easily with the strength of his army until he got to Ta'if. And the people of Ta'if, the leadership of Ta'if, they basically stopped him and said that, and they were afraid that he's going to attack the temple which was made for Lat, one of the statues that they used to worship, which was on the outskirts of Makkah al-Mukarramah in Ta'if. So they said that you don't need to attack our temple, we will guide you towards what you need to attack, and that is the Kaaba. And they sent with him a person called Abu Righal, who became their guide to attack the Kaaba. But before they got to the Kaaba, Abu Rigal actually passed away. He died, and they buried him on the outskirts of Mecca. And tradition has it that the people of Mecca continued to stone his grave for many decades afterwards for his part in assisting Abraham. So one of the key events that is said to have happened was that Abraham, with his army, camped on the outskirts of Makkah al-Mukarramah, and he sent some of his people to start plundering. And amongst the plundered goods that came into his possession were camels, 100 or so camels that belonged to the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, Abdul Muttalib. So he was in charge of the Kaaba in those days, and he was requested to come and sit down with Abraha to have a discussion about some kind of a resolution that could be made so that they could come to an agreement, and the Kaaba should not be the place where people worshipped, and people instead headed towards this new cathedral that Abraha had built. So when Abdul Muttalib came, he was a handsome man with a stature, and he had an appearance that compelled Abraha to get off from his throne and sit down on the floor with Abdul Muttalib. And in the course of this discussion, Abraha said that I've come to destroy the Kaaba with this intention that the Arabs should come and visit Yemen rather than come to worship over here. So he said, give me back my camels. Abraha was astounded at his answer, and he said, when I saw you, I got this huge amount of respect in my heart for you, but all of that respect has been now diminished because I've come to destroy your holy house, which you hold in high esteem and respect, and you turn around and you ask me about your camels. So Abdul Muttalib, he gave a very beautiful answer. He said that I'm the owner of the camels, I'm worried about them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the owner of the house, the Kaaba, and He will take care of the Kaaba Himself. Having said that, they came to an agreement, and Abdul Muttalib was given his camels back. And Abraha then decided that he's going to attack the Kaaba. When on the morning of the attack was decided, Abraha's elephant, whose name was Mahmud, would not head in the direction of the Kaaba. And when it was turned in other directions, he would go. But when he was turned towards the Kaaba, he would just kneel down and not move anywhere. During the course of this, trying to move the army towards the Kaaba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then sent these birds with stones in their beaks and their claws, and they pelted the army with those stones. It is mentioned that this event took place in a valley between Mina and Muzdalifah, which is called Muhassir. And the Prophet ﷺ, he used to urge people to rush away from there, and even during the days of Hajj, it is prohibited to stay in this valley of Muhassir. What happened when these stones were pelted upon these people was that they started, some scholars they say, some tafseers they say, that the flesh from their bodies started to melt and the bones became exposed. Others say that they were actually afflicted with an illness called smallpox, and they started scratching themselves and they died there and then. And Abraha, he tried to make his escape, and he also was destroyed in a similar fashion. So this is basically the story behind Surah Al-Fil. Let's go into the translation now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed the Prophet ﷺ, and indirectly he addressed the rest of the Arabs around him, and of course all of us. He said, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. Did you not see how your Lord dealt with the people of the elephant? أَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ. Did he not make their secret plans into misguidance or failure? So the word kaid, it means a secret plan, something which is done in secret. So why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use this word kaid, where there was no secret about the attack upon the Kaaba? So in answer to this, the Mufassirin, they say that the real reason was not the destruction of the Kaaba or the sanctity of the places of worship. The real reason, which was the secret, was getting the trade routes and to make sure that the trade that Makkah al-Mukarramah was enjoying and the money that it was enjoying, that would be redirected towards Yemen. And this was the secret behind the actual attack. The attack was not the motive. The motive was getting the people to come to Yemen so that they could enjoy the trade and the business surrounding it. So this was why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word kaid. Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Did he not make their plan, their secret plan, into misguidance or failure? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. And he sent upon them birds in swarms. So the word طير, it means bird. The Mufassirin, they say that the birds that came on that day, nobody saw them before and nobody ever saw them since. And different versions are used to describe them. Some descriptions are very mythical in nature, that they had the face and facial features of a bird of prey like an eagle or a hawk, but they had like claws of an animal, like a dog. This is one opinion. Others say that they look like regular birds, but birds which have never seen before and never seen since. Now the word ababil, many people, they actually mistranslate this and they assume that it's a type of bird called ababil, like sparrows and so on. But the reality is that ababil is not a kind of a bird. It's not a type of bird like a sparrow or an eagle or a hawk. Rather, ababil means a swarm, one after the other, coming from different directions. These are the different meanings given for طَيْرًا أَبَابِيل. So the best translation would be وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيل. He sent upon them birds coming in swarms or coming from all directions. This is the meaning of ababil. تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. And these birds, they threw upon them stones made of sijil. The word sijil means baked clay. And again, Ibn Abbas, I believe it is, who says that this word sijil is derived from two words from Farsi, sang and jil. And sang means stone and jil means baked. So sanjil or sijil, it means that kind of stone which is made from compressed clay. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. They threw upon them stones made from this clay. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. And he made them into asf ma'kul, which has been eaten. The word asf, it means the husk that is on top of corn or wheat. So when you have wheat or grain of wheat, underneath the actual husk there is the grain, but the husk is removed before it is made into flour. And that husk is used for the fodder for animals. Okay, so it is not really consumable for humans, but animals eat it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when these stones were pelted upon this army of Abraha, they became like this husk, which was basically, if you leave it, it floats about in the wind. So, like husk which has been consumed. So, an animal which has taken that husk, chewed it, and spat it out again, this was how they looked. Again, the translation, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. Did you not see how your Lord dealt with the people of the elephant? أَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ. Did he not make their secret plan into failure? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلٍ. And he sent upon them birds in swarms from every direction. تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. And these birds threw upon them stones made of baked clay. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. And he made them through that pelting, like husk which has been eaten or chewed. With this, we complete the tafsir of Surah Al-Fil. Please stand by for the grammatical analysis.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today, inshallah, we're going to be doing the grammatical analysis of Surah Al-Fil, which means the elephant. The first word here is lam. Is interrogative, as we've covered before already, and interrogative means basically it's a question mark. So it is asking the question, and as we mentioned before, it can give various meanings depending on the context. So in this context, the meaning would be did. Alam tara, did you see? Did you not see? Okay. So lam and tara is basically one word. This word lam, it is used in preceding the mudari, which means the present tense, and it takes the meaning of the present tense into a past negative tense. Okay, so actually the word tara was actually tara, and you add lam to it, and what happens is the ya gets deleted. In a normal noun, this is because this ya at the end means this is a fi'l naqis, which means it has a ya or a waw or an alif at the end of it, and that would actually drop off because of this lam. In a normal thulathi noun, for example, let's use the word yadkhul. This lam, if it enters, it's usually it is yadkhulu, but because of the lam, this would turn it into a sukoon. Okay, so it becomes lam yadkhul, means he did not enter. Okay, so this is what lam does. So alam tara, it basically means in the negative form, did you not see? And the word tara, like I said, the root letter is actually ra, a, and ya. Okay, ra, a, ya is the root letter, and how it became tara, that is a little bit more complicated for the viewers. Yes, people who are studying a little bit more advanced grammatical texts, I would discuss it for them, but for the laypersons, just remember that the root letters are ra, a, and ya for this word. It means to see something, and actually in the past tense you would say ra'a Zaydun as-sayyarata, Zayd saw the car. Okay, so ra'a is the actual root letter, ra'a and ya. The word kayfa, it means how. It's one of those words which indicate a question mark, or even it doesn't have to be a question mark. It can be a word used like in the middle of the sentence, like in this case, how he did something. Fa'ala, you can see the root letters right there. Fa'ala, it means he did, and the translation is dealt with. And the reason that the word dealt is being used here is because this fa'ala is connected with this ba harful jar. So did with. So did with basically dealt with the companions. Okay, so fa'ala, the actual meaning is actually he did. Rabbuka, your Lord, with ashab. Ashab is the plural of as-sahib, and we use the word sahib in Urdu to denote respect. But in Arabic, it doesn't really denote respect. It just means somebody who is a companion. and the root letter is Sad, Ha, and Ba, which means Sahiba. It means to accompany somebody. Okay, and from that you get the word Sahib, which is the ism fa'il, Sahib, like for example, Qatil from Qatala Yaqtulu, and Sajid from Sajada Yasjudu. This particular pattern is known as Ism Fa'il, which means the noun of the doer, the one who is doing. So in this case, Sahib, the one who is accompanying. Qatil, the one who is killing. Sajid, the one who is making prostration. So all these are known as Asma'ul Af'al, Ism Fa'il, or Asma'ul Af'al, which is the plural of that. And the plural of Sahib in this particular word is Ashab. And Al-Fil, we know what that means. It means elephant. Alam yaj'al, we get that lam again. Did he not make? Okay, so alam, is interrogative. Lam, it puts this yaj'al into the negative form, and you can see here, because this is a normal noun, this will get a sukoon right here on top of the lam because of the lam. So alam yaj'al, did he not make? So the word ja'ala, it comes in various meanings. That is the root letter of yaj'al. Ja'ala, it means to make something. It also can mean to start something. Various meanings, but here the meaning is to make. So this mudari form, yaj'alu, you put the lam in front of it, and it puts it into a negative form, and this sukoon also, the dhamma turns into a sukoon. So alam yaj'al, did he not make kaydahum? Kaydahum. Kayd, it means basically their plots. Kayd, it means their plots, their planning, especially usually it means evil planning. Kayd, and the root letter, as you can see, is kaf, ya, and dal. All these are the three root letters. Kaydahum means their plans, their planning. Fi, this word has come before, it means in, and it's a harful jar. And because it's a harful jar or a preposition, tadleel, it has a two kasras underneath it, jar underneath it. Alam yaj'al, did he not make their planning into, made them astray, meaning made them unsuccessful. So this tadleel, the root letter is actually Dad, Lam, and Lam. These are the three root letters, and actually waladhalin, that dhalin is from the same root letter. So what happens is the past tense of this Dad, Lam will be Dalla. We mentioned before that when you get two of the same letter, the first and the second, then what happens is that you basically combine the two together and it will become one word, and you would just put a shadda, one letter, and you just put a shadda on top of it to indicate that there are in fact two letters right there. Okay, so tadleel, it is from that same root letter of Dad, Lam, and Lam, and it's in the pattern of taf'il, and it basically means to not allow to succeed, to basically misguide, and so on. Wa arsala, this arsala, the root letter is Ra, Sin, and Lam. Ra, Sala, and obviously it means to send. Rusul, we know, it means prophets. Rasul is from the same root letter, and this particular pattern is from Bab If'al, which you take this the original three root letters, Ra, Sin, and Lam, and you just put a Hamza in front of it and put it in that pattern, and it becomes Arsala, which is the past tense of bab if'al. Alayhim, it is the combination of ala and hum. Ala, harful jar, and hum combined, it means alayhim, and basically just to make it easy to pronounce, they put the ya in the middle there. Now, some people might have the question that you said that this ala is harful jar, preposition, okay? So why did this not get a kasra? Like, for example, we mentioned on top here, fi tadlil, fi is harful jar, tadlil, it gave it a kasra. So why alayhim does not have a kasra? Why doesn't the meme have a kasra? So the answer to that question is very easy. The kasra, or the pronouns, are what's known as mabni, meaning they do not change whatever happens to them. So this hum at the end of alayhim, it is a pronoun, and because of that it will never change. Okay? But in the context of the hukm means the ruling related to that particular pronoun, is that it is regarded as majroor, meaning that ala is actually preceding it, harful jar is still preceding it, therefore it is still regarded as majroor. Tayran, tayr, it means bird, and the root letters ta, ya, and ra basically means to fly. The past tense would be tara, and the mudari would be yatiru, and they come from this root letter ta, ya, and ra. In tayr, it means bird. This word ababil, many people actually think that it is a type of bird, like a sparrow and so on. However, ababil does not mean a type of bird or a breed of bird. It actually means various meanings have been given, but the majority of them come to the conclusion that it means groups or huge droves. And this is basically what ababil means. It is not a particular type of bird. And then there are different riwayat as to what kind of birds they actually were. Some say there were a type of bird called khatatif, and so on. And some have even birds of a mythological nature, with like a face of a dog and claws of birds and so on. There are different riwayat as to what the particular birds were. So ababil should not be assumed that it's a brand or a type of bird. Rather, it means groups or jama'ats, and some people say it means those groups that are coming from all different directions, right and left and so on. So this is the meaning of ababil. Tarmihim, it means they throw towards them. Okay, so the word tarmi, the root letter is rama. Ra, mim, and ya. These are the three root letters. And the past tense of it is rama, and the present tense is what you can see over there. It is yarmi. This is the masculine form. And the feminine form is going to be tarmi, because it is referring to the birds. And remember, whenever you have animals or non-living things, when you bring the plural of them, they are classified as singular feminine singular. So the word for feminine singular would be used to put it into verb form. So tarmi, it is the singular feminine form in the third person, and the reason that it's being used here is because it's referring to the birds. So the birds threw him to them, which refers to the flock of the army of Abraha, bihijaratim, with stones, This word hijara, it means stones. It is the plural of hajar, hajar al-aswad. Okay, so hajar means stones. The plural hijara. Min, from, and this is known as min bayaniya. Okay, min basically used to explain things. Sometimes min is used to denote positioning, meaning from min America ila London, for example, from America to London. And sometimes it means tab'id, which means some of something. Okay, for example, akaltu minal khubzi, from the bread. I ate from the bread, meaning some of the bread. And here in this particular form, min sijil, min is known as bayaniya, and that means that it is explaining what the uh, stones were made of, and the what were they made of? Sijil, which is baked clay. Okay, and the root letter of sijil is sin, jeen, and lam. فَجَعَلَهُمْ فَجَعَلَهُمْ. Fa, it means so, or, and it can also mean be for ta'qib. Ta'qib means it's for delay. That basically after pelting them with stones, as a consequence, فَجَعَلَهُمْ, he made them, then جَعَلَ, made, he made, hum, them. جَعَلَ, he made, hum, them. Into what? The root letter of ja'ala is very clear, is jim, ayn, and lam. It means to make. Again, we covered that already, what it means, and the plural we've covered already, which is, the mudari, yaj, alu, is the mudari form of it. So he made hum, them. Ka is another harful jar, and you can see that the fa here, it has a 2 kasra because of this ka harful jar. And ka, it is used to denote similarity, which is known in Arabic as tashbih. For example, you could say Zaydun ka asadin. Zayd is like a lion. So this ka is for tashbih, which means to compare something with somebody else, okay, or with something else. So Zaydun ka asad, Zayd is like a lion in his bravery and so on. And like I said, kaf is a harful jar, and in this particular form it is used for tashbih. And asf, it refers to grass and so on, hay, which is hay, which animals eat. Ma'kul, eaten. Okay, this ma'kul, the root letter is akala, and which means he ate. Okay, this is the 1, 2, and 3 root letters. But when they are taken in that particular form, the form is known as maf'ul. Okay, maf'ul, and that means the one upon whom the action has been taken. So, for example, other examples would be, for example, maqtul, the one who was killed. Okay, you could also say mansur, which means the one who was helped. Mahmud, the one who was praised, and so on. So ma'kul, using that same example, it means consumed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent upon this army of Abraha these birds, and they pelted them with stones, and those stones were so powerful with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the army of Abraha and the elephants and everyone, they became like this chewed up cud. Cud is basically the the food that the cow regurgitates from its stomach and eats again and again. So if you can imagine that grass which has been chewed up, what it looks like. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent these birds upon them, and they smashed them to such a degree that they became like this pulp, this grass that has been consumed and spat out. This was the consequence of trying to destroy the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This concludes the grammatical analysis of Surah Al-Fil.